All right, welcome to Transforming Lives podcast. I am your host, Tony Kimball. All right, guys, I'm excited tonight to have my next guest, but we're talking to genuine people with real lives. There's no difference tonight. Now, take a moment if you're planning to comment on this particular live stream. Go ahead and give Facebook permission so as you're commenting, your name can be shown. Also, take the opportunity if you have not to go to Transforming Lives page and like that page. And we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Look, I'm going to give him an intro, but I've known this gentleman all of my life. I'll try not to bring up any stories or anything like that. He is the pastor of Faith Culture, uh, located in Oxford, Mississippi. He is a husband and husband to my classmate. Shout out Tiffany Reed. He's the father of two boys. Two we and definitely we're excited about those two gentlemen. But above all, guys, he is a business owner. He is, I can just continue to name things. He's a barber, he's an entrepreneur, guys, and he's just down to earth guy. And just been waiting to set this up to get him on. And I couldn't get him on Saturday because again, he will be in the shop chopping it up. He was my barber for so many years. And I miss those haircuts. But I'm appreciative to have him on. I'm excited for this conversation that we're going to have on tonight. My next guest that I'm bringing on is Pastor Jono Reed. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up, Mr. Kimball? How you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm doing well.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
So it's a great night to have you on. And like I said, usually we do this on a Saturday, but of course you're in there chopping some people up. So we couldn't have it on that particular Saturday. So, Tuesday was that best day that we can get it in. So yeah, man, welcome to Transforming Lives podcast.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you for having me on.
No doubt. So, we're going to jump right in. We're just having a conversation tonight. But one of my quotes that I like, and I actually missed on the front half, and it's okay. But one of my favorite leaders that's out there is John Maxwell. And John Maxwell says this. We're talking about leadership and transformation on the night. Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them, by John Maxwell. So when we talk about leadership, you're one of the guys when I think about leadership, when I think about transformation, you're the guy that I think about. So my first question for you tonight is, tell me about three, you can do more, less, however you want to do it, of the most influential people in your life and how they impacted you.
Oh man, you put me on the spot with that one. but Tony, I would have to say my parents, right? So, and when I say my parents, I want to put them all in a group: my mom, my dad, and my grandmother. Gotcha. And the reason I would say my mom, my dad, and my grandmother, because all three of them taught me something that I believe is still with me today, and that is respect, right? So I think to be a good leader, a good business owner, or a good pastor, or whatever, you can't be a respect of persons. Everybody gets the same respect. So they taught me respect. And my great grandfather is the other one. I put him separately. So he would be number two. His name was Bill Spearman. We call him Daddy Bill. And Daddy Bill was not an educated man or anything like that, but Daddy Bill, he was influential in my life because he gave me a lot of confidence, right? How you have that grandparent or just somebody in your life that just makes you believe in you.
Right.
And so Daddy Bill, he just thought the world of me. And man, I mean, he didn't think I could do anything wrong. And the confidence, the confidence that he had in me, it it lit a fire in me. I needed that. I needed that from him. And this next name, I tried to think of a lot of people, but I can try to think of a lot of people, but I would definitely have to say this last person probably would be uh, y'all may or may not know him. He's a preacher. He's a teacher of the word. His name is Kenneth Copeland. And Kenneth Copeland, I learned faith from him and
Mm-hmm.
many others, taught me faith. But in my younger years, I would listen to Kenneth Copeland a lot. And Kenneth Copeland gave me a good foundation for faith and how to believe God and just how to stand in faith. And I think that's been very important for me. So those are the three.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely. I can remember grandmother, and I can remember on the Head Start bus. So I definitely remember those moments of getting straightened up.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
oh,
and your parents, man, definitely those people that you name are definitely great to hear. So this next question I have is, did Jono see himself becoming who he is today? Tell us about it.
well, first of all, I really believe that who I am today is not a reflection of, uh, what some of the things that's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But could I see myself being here? Yeah, I could, because, even from a young age, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I can't never, you have some people say, I'm a just they everybody want to do business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, business has just always been a part of me. I always wanted to be a business owner. I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And to be honest, this is how I believe about it. I believe that entrepreneurship is just as much a calling as
Mm,
preaching,
gotcha.
teaching, pastoring. I think that's just been a part of the call of God that's on my life since I was young. So, and in terms of pastoring, I didn't understand it when I was younger, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I've always been intrigued by.
Mm-hmm.
And you have some kids, they want to be doctors, they want to be lawyers, they want to be a lot of different things, but I've always been intrigued by the world of business. And so it's just something it's just a part of my natural makeup, my DNA. And preaching, um, you know, you're a preacher yourself. It's a calling. It's something that you try to run from, you try to get away from it, but
Mm-hmm.
you just can't. So I decided to obey God. So hey, this is where I am. So yeah, I always saw myself being an entrepreneur slash preacher. Yeah, or a
Gotcha.
preacher slash entrepreneur, whatever, however you want to put it. I always saw it.
And the amazing thing that, as I reflect, and when you think about entrepreneurship, just up close, you were probably one of the first that I just up close, because a lot of times entrepreneurship, you kind of see it out from afar, but to have conversations and be up close to someone that is doing it, that's a difference. So yeah, I was thinking through that. Like, you really, although other people, but that's slightly different. So you've kind of touched on, did you always want to be a business owner, entrepreneur? Um, so let's look at that a little bit more. So you're saying that that you're called to do it, right?
Right,
That's a difference, right? You said that was a calling. I like that, because it makes you look at entrepreneurship differently, because if it's a calling, you got to be chosen to do it. So
right, right, right,
that's a
right.
little different. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so what's one lesson, a business owner, entrepreneur, or a pastor, what's one lesson that has taught you that you think everybody should know at this point in their lives, or at
Well,
some point in their lives?
me myself personally, I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned from entrepreneurship, pastoring, is that you have to be humble enough for God to bless you.
Mm,
And I think that pride is deadly
mhm,
where our success as people is concerned, because you can be so prideful until it becomes impossible for God to raise you up in a thing. And so I think just, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to know everything, but you do, I believe you do have to be humble enough and low enough for God to raise you up. So I think that's extremely important.
awesome. So we got Lakeisha Mack said amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, wifey says so true. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, I like, man, where you distinguish number one, saying about God blessing you, and then also bringing up this whole idea of pride. Like it can lead you in the wrong direction, that you don't walk out those things that I'm sure that we're going to talk about a little later. So what is the most important lesson you've learned over your career?
The most important lesson,
Mhm.
uh, what I just said. what I what I just said. Honestly, that's the most important lesson that I have learned, because you know, just myself personally,
Mhm.
I have seen things go up,
Mhm.
because I started being an entrepreneur probably at around the age of 20, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when I began. And so I'm 40, I'll be 42 November the 14th. So I've been doing it a long time. And so I've seen a lot of stuff prosper, but
Yeah.
I've also seen some things go down. But one of the things that I've noticed is that, you know, sometimes when you start prospering, you begin to depend on God, to depend on self a little bit more.
Right.
And that's pride. But when, I believe that you have to stay low enough for God to continue to bless you. And you know pride for me, because it's easy to be prideful when God is blessing you, right? So
Mhm.
so I think for me it's been just man, staying low enough for God to
Mhm.
keep raising me up. And so, because I've seen stuff just dwindle.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you're a man of God, I'm a man of God. You spend time in the secret place, I spend time in the secret place. And one of the things that I've noticed with me, myself personally, is every time that pride start creeping in, things just start going down. But
Mhm.
I've been repentant enough towards God to see him bring it back up. So I think just that humility
Right.
is so important.
Good deal, man. That's powerful. We got Bobby Kimball here. He says that's deep because he said we have to be humble and know enough for God to raise you. He said, I love this. Thank
Mm.
you for that, Bobby Kimball. Yeah, that's definitely important, man. Just being humbled enough. So I think you've kind of touched on this next question, but feel free to elaborate on it if you wish. What is the most important personality trait, strength someone needs to work in your industry and thrive in your job?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about pride. I'm big on pride, but another thing is I think integrity is very important,
Hmm.
and because your word is important in the world of business. And I had to learn this because people do business with people that they trust. And if your word is good, sometimes I've learned you don't even have to be the best at what you do if people can trust you.
Mm,
And so I think integrity is important. I think you know uh one of the reasons why even at my barbershop, I don't have a sign on the door saying that I'll be there at 9, right? Or I'll be there at 10. It's because, I know I got other things going on. And if I put a sign up to say I'll be there at 8 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
I intend to be there at 8. And so basically, I think integrity is important because you need to do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And if you can do what you say you're going to do uh, long enough, you can develop, people develop confidence in you. And that confidence always translates to more business
Mm-hmm.
because, in the world of business, it's about referrals too. And so when people trust you, they will refer you to other people. And so integrity is so important in business.
Right, man. You're giving some good stuff right there, man. That sometimes you try to go out to, but you're talking about 20 years of experience of making those statements. So that's a little different than maybe doing 1 or 2 years. You're saying, look, integrity, this is something that is essential. So if someone's starting out, what's one piece of advice you would get them? Someone starting, whatever career you want to take on, what
Well,
advice?
Minister Kimball, me myself personally, I would tell people this right here: don't be a copycat,
Mm,
right? Don't look at what other people are doing and say, "Hey, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that." The Bible says that many are the plans of a man's heart, but only the counsel of the Lord will stand. And so I think it's very important for everybody to seek out the plan of God for their lives
mhm.
because that's where your success is. That's where you'll be successful at. And so a lot of times people see, hey, he's doing it or she's doing it, so I'm going to do it. If they can do it, I can do it. But they may be called to do it, or that may be where God has called them to. So I think it's important not to be a copycat, but to be an original. And in order to be that, I think you have to really spend some time in the secret place with God, seeking out the plan of God for your life. And I really believe that that's extremely important because everything that I have done in business, ministry, or whatever, if God told me to do it, I always win with it. But I've been hard headed and I've done some stuff that I just didn't have the inward witness to move forward with, but I moved forward anyway and I
Mhm.
always lost with it. So I
Mm.
think that's very important. I really do.
Man, that's some good stuff right there because I, I'm gonna pause because I think we need to just have a little moment here because you can end up copying and it's not what you're called to do. So it's um it's important because I like what you said. If it's what you're called to do, um it really doesn't matter if that's your that if you're called to do that,
Mhm.
you can do it. I won't say with the word ease, but you can do it
With grace.
with that. I like that. Good. Yeah. Grace. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 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 We got okay. We got Bobby Kimball. Thank you for joining. He said, "What's for me is for me. The plans that God has for me won't work for nobody else. Won't work
I
for no
like that,
one else."
Bobby Kim. I don't know you, but that's a true statement. Like
Yeah.
like that's a true statement. Sometimes, like what he just said, is it sounds simple, but it's so powerful. That's powerful because what God has for you, you can prosper in it.
Mm.
You can prosper in God's plan for you. So that's important.
Oh, absolutely. So then shifting to this whole idea of understanding, stay in your lane. What God has for you is for you. Who's been your, you know, I want to say most important professional mentors, but who's been some mentors in your life that you've talked about? You've been in the business, entrepreneurship, 20 years. So let's kind of share about that.
Well, honestly, um, this is what I have done, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have taken mentors of the faith, right?
Yeah.
And I use the knowledge or the wisdom that they give, and I implement it in my business, because the kingdom is the kingdom, and
Mm-hmm.
kingdom principles, they just work.
Right.
They work for me. And so I would say, in terms of people, I would say a lot of people gonna be really, really, they probably won't like this because they don't like him, but I learned a lot from Creflo Dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned a lot. Creflo Dollar is an excellent teacher, and I learned a lot from him down through the years, just listening to his teachings. I learned a lot from Bill Winston, a whole lot from Bill Winston. Um, uh, uh, Evangelist Murdoch. Uh,
Yeah.
I learned a lot from Pastor when I was in Columbus, Ohio, with Rod Parsley.
Mm-hmm.
I learned so much from Rod Parsley because he was a true visionary.
Mm-hmm.
And for those 2 years, I got a chance to just, I didn't know, I didn't go to dinner with him every day, or nothing like that, but I got a chance to be around him and see how he established things.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just a true visionary. And so I think that was a real defining time in my life. And also, I learned a lot from just, through observation. I observe a
Yeah.
lot of people. I
Yeah.
watch people. I watch successful people. I learned from Miles Monroe. I just, I think I'm a product of many people,
Right.
right?
Yeah. You've named some people, man. Miles Monroe, man. Man, that brother.
He was slick. He's slick. Mhm.
Miles Monroe, and every name that you've named, I can relate to. Just gleaming like you're talking about from him. You never, you're not close to him, but you can glean something from him. So we've heard from just influential people that are in your life. We've heard about somewhat of the business, somewhat of pastoring. So I want to pause right here, man. Just tell us, man, what do you do? Just
What
just
do I
kind of
do?
try, let's try to shape it up, man. Let's try to just let the listeners know, man. What do you do?
Man, Minister Kimball, man, I pastor,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
And I'm an entrepreneur.
yeah.
Okay. So, pastoring, I pastor faith culture. You know, the name faith culture, it means, it just defined my character, right? Because, a lot of people want to be a lot of different things, but from the scripture, but I have always been intrigued by faith. You know, I always been intrigued by faith.
Hmm.
If I could say, if I were to title myself or something that I've always aspired to be, it
Hmm.
would be, some people want to be a doctor of law, a doctor of, medicine. I always wanted to be a doctor of faith. I wanted to know faith and understand faith, so much so until I could teach faith to people. And
Gotcha.
so what do I do? I teach faith. I teach faith, and I think faith is very important. That's one of the aspects of my ministry. We do more than faith, but
Hmm.
you know, I just believe in living by faith. Amen. Jesus did. I think everybody else should. And
Right.
so next, I have a barbershop. You know, I have a cleaning company. Um, I invest in cryptos, a little bit of everything. I'm just, people talk about having several streams of income. So, I believe in that. I believe in having several streams of income. So, I do a little bit of everything, man. I do a
Right.
little buy, sell, trade. and, I don't try to do it. Like, that go back to what I was saying about the car. I don't try to do it. I don't make this up. It's just, I just do it,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so I do a little bit of everything.
Right. So the thing about it is you don't necessarily need any validation, but I do want to validate the point of a brother of faith, a man of faith. Um, yeah, that's you. That's absolutely the person that I know. Um, then we have Miss Reed right here. Cora said you teach it well. So at some point she was saying you teach it well. So
uh,
so
yeah,
uh,
she ain't seen nothing yet. I got
uh,
some new stuff. Hey man, hey, it's some new stuff coming. Amen.
so yeah. So Corey, you heard it. You heard it. It's
All
new
right.
stuff. Bobby Kimball says you're talking my language. So all right. So we've heard what you're doing, um, and explain what you got. So we have your wife's friend on here as well. My wife as well, the Reeds. She's
uh,
sending love out right here. All right.
all right.
So what's one thing, whatever side you want to speak upon, what's one thing about your business or pastoring that you did not expect?
Well, just in all honesty, pastoring has been a very humbling experience for me. It's been a very humbling experience for me because everything else that I have done in the world of business that God told me to do, it's just,
Mhm.
one, by year two, it's gone, right? By
Yeah,
year two, I mean, it's gone. It's good.
right.
And you can see so much. It just worked. It just have worked for me.
Hmm.
But with pastoring, it's been more of a build. It's been more of a build for me, and um, it's been more of a build, and it's been humbling because, uh, if you a pastor, or people can say what they want to say, but if you're a pastor, you want your church to explode, right?
Right. Yeah.
But that has not been my experience with pastoring, right?
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of ups, I've seen a lot of downs, and but through all of that, you know, my spirit is in a much better place through pastoring, right?
Yeah.
Because it has taught me to trust God a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
That's what pastoring has done to me. So it has humbled me. It has um, taught me even more faith. And I believe through pastoring, I'm a better person now. I'm a better person now through that. So yeah, that's one thing that I did not expect. I did not expect that. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that's impactful because the honesty, but I think the conclusion of it is, well, isn't necessarily the conclusion. Conclusion right now, it makes you a better person, and
Right.
that's a testament um to pastoring. Yeah, yeah.
And I
So,
always and let me say, I always thought that I was a good um I always thought that I was a good member.
mhm,
You have pastors, you have members in church. But when I became a pastor, it showed me, now I know what a pastor really needs.
mm,
And when I look back, I was all right, but I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best sheep, right? So I think that being a pastor, firsthand now, I think it has taught me, God used this to teach me how to serve leaders. So now I got a real heart for a bigger heart to help people, to help people, but especially leaders. I want to see
mm,
leaders succeed, and I think that I'm better equipped to help now, just through this experience with pastor. And so I often say, if I were to ever just go to a church full time, if God ever
mhm,
called me that way again, I don't foresee that. But if He ever called me that way again,
right.
guess what? I believe that the members in the church would really dislike me because they would think I'll be kissing up. They would think, man, this guy here, he doing too much. But I would really, really, really serve in a different capacity and with different passion now because I'm in that seat. So yeah, so that's what I learned. And I didn't expect to learn all this, but I know it now.
Right, but I think that's the joy. I guess we don't say that's the joys of it when we are in the process of learning it, but once we're on the other side of it, I think that's the joys of it because um, our heart changes and we don't quite understand. But like what you just said, like I'll be in a different position in my heart. So that's some good stuff, man. That's good. That's good. We got Bobby Kimmel, man. He my cousin. We don't know each other, but we can be Kimmel.
We can.
He said, "Come on, sir."
Mhm.
All right. Of course, said thank God. Yep. Right. So that's a testament.
Hey, see, Corey, hey, you getting some points, girl. You get some points tonight.
All right. So you talked about one thing that you did not expect, but what's a myth? What's a common myth about either your job or your field of expertise that you want to kind of let the listeners know about?
That in a weird way, I'm not sure if it's through social media or what, but there's this mindset in people that they can succeed without God, but you can't.
Right.
You can only go so far without God. It takes every bit of God to succeed in your endeavors. And I think that, because people are, we live in an age now where everybody is self-driven, and ain't nothing wrong with self-love and all that. It's good to have self-love. It's good to, minister to yourself. And so it's almost like we've gotten caught up too much in self and not enough in being selfless, right?
Yeah.
Because in order to succeed, I think it takes every bit of God to help you. And you got to be very, 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 I think you have to be your relationship with God. I think that's what feeds success. Because if you can keep the your idolatry out of the way, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If you can
Right.
keep that out of the way,
Right.
then I believe that God can really help you to succeed. And but so I think that's the biggest myth that people just doing. You can just do good. No, you can't just do good. You gotta have God. So yeah, that's the biggest myth that I see in people.
Listen, brother, I really want to dive into that. I want to be respectful of your time, brother. I don't care how I don't care how it's shaped. That statement you just made, brother, is worth its weight in gold, brother. It is no way possible. I
Can't
don't
do
care
it.
how much you gain, but if you don't include God, it's almost like this. It's almost like in a race where you have this barrier that's a God barrier that's going to be there. And if you don't acknowledge him, you spoke about idols, all that stuff, brother. There's a way of either allowing it or whatever the case may be. Like God has to be in it. And it's it's
That's
no way.
no way. That's why I always tell people, that when they say I'm self-made, you know what I tell them? I'm not self-made. I'm a product. The success that I have enjoyed, I'm a product of God. I'm not a product of self. I'm not self-made. God did this.
Right.
And he gonna do some more stuff, amen. But I ain't self-made.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, man. That stuff sounds good, but when you self-made, you gotta you gotta carry yourself, and you can't you can't carry yourself for some of that stuff. Definitely, man. They're chiming in left and right. I'm trying to keep them up, bring them up as they're coming in, man. People are agreeing with the with your speaking, man. It's definitely powerful, man. You said some powerful stuff over this duration of this podcast, this interview, man. So, what's something that I didn't ask, but you would like to share with the listeners?
I think you got everything, man.
You got everything.
I think you got everything.
Yeah. So, um, what's three words? We're down to our last part. What's three words you want to leave with the viewers?
3 words.
Three words.
Oh man, 3 words. Let me see. Let me see. All right. I already said everything that's dear to my heart through it. So one, stay away from pride.
All right.
Stay low enough for God to keep raising you up. That's one. Two, integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Be a person that can be trusted. Right? Be a person that can be trusted. And three, everybody gets the same respect.
Mm.
Everybody gets the same respect, whether they can offer you something or whether they cannot offer you something, because ultimately your blessings come from God. Your blessings come from God. And so respect all people. Don't be a respecter of persons. And
Mm.
that's just dear to me. That's dear to me.
Well, sir, I appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a long time coming, but you dropped what I consider a lot of life gems. Is hope and encouragement for my week. So I appreciate the things that you've said tonight. God has His way of reminding you of things. So I appreciate the things that you have shared with the viewers and the listeners on tonight. So listen, brother, thank you so much. Um, I was about to say much success, and I can't say much success to you, but God's blessings on you, brother. And thank you for the blessing those that are going to hear you and
Mhm.
actually see you on this live this live stream. So thank you very much, brother. I'm going to put you in the background. You got any last words that you would like to say?
No, man, I'm good. I pretty much said everything, man.
Yeah.
I'm just glad. I want to appreciate you for letting me just, thinking enough of me, man, to put me on your podcast. It mean a lot, so I appreciate that.
All right, good deal. Good deal. I'm going to put you in the background. Don't go off yet. All right. All right, guys. Look, that was Pastor Jono Reed. Again, when I think about faith, that's a brother that comes to mind, like automatically pops up. That brother has been walking by faith as long as I've known him, and he's a doctor of faith. So I definitely will give him the kudos on that. So again, guys, listen. If you're replaying this right here, share this with a friend. What this brother dropped is helpful. It is not just helpful, it's transformational. So when we talk about leadership, we talk about transformation, I'm not shocked. I knew that this was going to happen, of the words that is on Pastor Reed's heart. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we will be back later. Y'all have a great one, and we're out. All right, guys. One thing I failed to say: it's Pastor of Faith Culture in Oxford, Mississippi. If you're in the area, stop by, see them. They would love to see you. A place of worship and a place of friendly people that love God. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. Peace.